All right, guys,
Yeah,
thank you all for
30
coming. We are going to get this thing started on that weird note. Um,
Yep.
so if anybody is recording, this is the time to start recording, and we're going to get into some of this stuff. All right. So again, I just want to announce we do have 8 teams this season. I said it earlier, but I'll say it for the record. We've got the Leviathans. That's us in X. We've got the KRN Krakens. We've got the First RM Marines. We've got the GDE/NJ, and they are the Sea Otters. We've got the 44th, who are the Rum Rats. We've got the number 16, VOC, HLG, 7 Boosts, and some others. Formerly SCP, name to be determined. Hold on, we're looking for. You have Kieran's. Have your guys just join the tavern. We'll drag them down.
Yes, they are.
Okay, they're up in the tavern. If somebody could drag them down. Okay. All right. So we've got the SCP who are voting on their name right now. They've got a cool bunch of options. We've got the Rangers for the TRR, and we've got the Landlubbers. That's the 23rd Maltese Guard KFC team. Okay, so we've got 8. This is really, really fantastic. It's 2 more teams than last season. That's growth is very good. And every one of these teams are beautifully at around that 30 plus number, which is going to allow us to do some really great things this season. So I'm very excited to get into some of that. But let's start kind of at the beginning here. So as part of the registration process, we have had you guys nominate a chief admiral, just what we're calling the admiral, and then we will have vice admirals. So again, those 3 people ought to be all battle leaders, and they're also going to be organizers, and they're also going to be helping us out to communicate with you guys about questions or anything we need from your team. But again, specifically somebody with the title of admiral or vice admiral, that's a battle leader. That's somebody that we can keep an eye out for when they lead, with the idea that your admiral, right, should be the person who is leading your fleet the most in battle, because that is the person who at the end of the season a cash prize is going to go to if you guys win. Then we have what we're calling our staff officers, right? Some of you here are staff officers. Your role may not, it's for communicating with your team. It's for, again, asking those questions, logistics, and understanding, maybe the nuances of, can I get this many people? Can I not get that many people? Where do we sign up? What do we do? How do we get people approved onto our team? So on and so forth. But you may not be a person who is leading the fleet in battle, but it's important to have one. Staff officers can also just be members of a component regiment of your team, just so that they have somebody who can speak to the Naval Sports Commission, which is us guys running it, on your team's behalf and on their regiment's behalf. Okay. This season is having one major change when it comes to signups, and that is that every single member of your team needs to be in this Discord and registered to your team. People who are not registered to your team cannot play for your team. It's a very simple process, which we're going to detail for you about how to register people to your team. We're going to have a preliminary sign up right off the bat. And then after that, you'll still be able to sign up people throughout the season. Just like before, and this is all going to be verbal right now. I don't have all the final rules written up that I can just show to you. We will have that before the season starts, but we don't have it yet. But just like previous seasons, you are free to add people to your team. Maybe friends who came back to your regiment after a break, or people in your regiment who didn't want to try and now want to try it. That's certainly fine. Just remember that a person cannot play on the team of 2 different, or play as a player for 2 different teams, right? So a guy from the Leviathans can't then also be a member of the Krakens. If a person transfers between your 2 regiments, we need to know before that person tries to compete for their new regiment. So if I quit X and I decide to go join the KRN, I will have to inform, right, both teams and the commission before I can play. Don't tell us afterwards, because that person, there will be penalties for it. So please don't do that. All right, so let me see if there's anything I have to say before I pass it over to Gunnar for a little bit more. Again, with everybody being in the server, and Gunnar's going to talk about how we're going to get them all in and register to your teams, the signups are also going to be in the NSL server. So instead of having to bother you guys throughout the week leading up to your battle, okay, give us your numbers. What are your numbers? What are your numbers? Because all of your team is going to be in this Discord, they're going to react to an announcement in this Discord. So if you guys remember from last season, the week before your team would play, you would be invited into a chat, and that like a sub chat or whatever, that would have your two teams. It would ask you for your numbers. It would ask you for your ship assignments, or what captains are going for which ship. That is going to still be the case, but we are no longer going to be asking you to tell us who's going to show up, because the people themselves will also be in it. Your entire both teams will be in that conversation. They won't be able to type out into the chat itself. That's going to be reserved for the admirals and for the staff officers. So the conversations that will be happening will only be between the commission and the admirals and officers, but the entire team will have visibility to that chat and channel, and they will be able to click a thumbs up. Yes, I'm going to be there. I'm one of the people who are representing my team in this coming week. That way we don't have to bother you guys so much. For your numbers, we'll have it right there and there, so we can approach you guys if your numbers are low and tell you guys, you need to get more signups, because we can see it by the minute. Okay, Gunnar, I'm going to pass it to you at this point to talk to them about how they're going to get their teams into the server and what you need from them.
Alrighty, guys. So first off, I can go ahead and share my screen. Entire screen. So this got posted out to Team Admirals a while back. It's been revamped a little bit. There's absolutely no data in here. If you guys need, I will go ahead and create a document that literally just is the exact same for you, but just for one team. But we're going to log every single member on who's on what team inside of here. So we're going to need your team member's name, their AGS ID, and their Discord ID. If people do transfer throughout the season, that is fine. That will run through one of the tickets that we've created, and we will have all our teams listed here. I have been revamping it. I have not gotten everything added yet for today, but essentially we're going to have one database of every single member, what their role is, whether it's dark blue for Team Admiral, light blue for Vice Admiral, or orange for staff. The difference between the Admiral and Vice Admiral, it's really just the main Admiral, the main point of contact, followed by your next two battle leaders. Your orange, your staff, those are going to be people that still have more access inside of the Discord to help with arranging the upcoming week's battle. I'm not going to ask that you have everyone submit their information right now through the ticketing form. We could go ahead and just manually port this over. And then I'll have to manually add people. You can also get people to be approved, but if you are going to run the ticket form, I would ask that you create your own list, run the ticket form, and grab this data so that way you can then provide it to us, and we can cross-check that there's no people being on multiple teams at once. Does that make sense?
Just ask questions if you have questions. If this doesn't make sense to you, ask really dumb questions about it, because we want everybody to leave here understanding it. So, Gunnar, can you just tell them can you give them a show of what exactly they have to do?
Yep. So essentially what the ask is before we go full ticket method is, hey, we're going to get Lemerk's ID, his AGS ID. I could go ahead and grab from one of our other files. Well, I'll just grab his Steam ID because I have that handy here.
Probably a really rookie question. Where'd you get your AGS ID?
Okay, so that is a great question. I'll get to that in 1 second. So I just grab Lemerk's this is his Steam ID. It will function the same. I prefer AGS ID, but I don't have them handy. And let's also grab Lemerk's.
You can
is
grab
Little Val Victory here for somebody? I see a Little Val Victory in the tavern. He's Marines?
Yes, they're Marine.
Thank you.
So just while you're there, you can go to barracks, and when you change your name, you see, like for example, change your name in the customize. You can find it under player IDs.
I'm gonna get to that. So this again is just going to be a massive list of everyone's AGS ID and their Discord ID. If you need help finding the AGS ID, there is a helper. So you should now be able to see my screen over here. Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So I did go ahead and lock this because people were starting to fill it up, which is fine. I just didn't want it to get overly utilized because it technically is not needed right now. I've gone ahead and created form submissions for each team: Leviathans, Kraken, Marine, Rubrats, SCP placeholder once you guys have the name, Landlubbers, Rangers, Sea Otters. If you're going to be a league mercenary, and it's possible that someone might just want to play in the league and not be on a team, there's a few questions that we need to understand why, and that will be decided upon by the NSL administration with insight from any of you team admirals. There's also a team transfer option. So if people are wanting to change teams, they will have to click on it to notify us. By clicking on it, it pops up a little form telling us your name, your AGS ID, where are you leaving, and what team are you joining. Those are in the wrong section, but I'll fix that. Let's pretend I want to become part of the Krakens. I click on the Krakens, and my name is Test. My AGS ID is Hi Dad. Okay, cool. The person would then be able to submit it, and it notifies the KRN admirals here. So they just got a notification. It pings the Kraken admiral that ex-gunner, me, wants to join their team. It provides their information, the answers that they provided, and you could either accept or deny it. Now, thank you. Excellent, Tangerine. Anyone can approve, any admiral has the ability to approve inside this channel. Do not act on tickets that are not directed towards you. It gets logged and we'll be able to see it, okay? So you can see this one up here that Kiggs did. They approved, Elmo approved Kiggs, so it automatically assigns the C auto roll to them. It does not, however, log it inside of this database. So for the time being, I want to get a full list from you guys before we go about just mass ticketing this, because it's going to be a pain in the rear for the administration to manually add every single team's individuals. So please send us a full listing of your members, and we'll process it from here.
Right. So just to make sure that everybody is 100% clear on this, we're not using this method to start off with. The first thing we're going to do is you're going to get that document that Gunnar has up. If you could put it on the screen again, Gunnar. And this is what you're going to fill out manually for all of your team members. This is what we want first. Then once that initial list is done, if there are any changes or additions anytime throughout the season, then you're going to use this, which Gunnar is showing now. Okay, guys?
Mm-hmm.
Inside of here, also, I talked about it before, there's a thing called your AGS ID. You'll need your AGS ID. There's a nice little link here that Holfast created. You can go to the site and it tells you step by step how to get your AGS ID. So you can direct them to either that message or just Holfast game finding AGS ID. It's all listed there.
Okay. Anything else on this front?
Yes. One more thing I'll go ahead and do. I just created a mock-up. So for those that were here last season, you guys were used to seeing the weekly post message. Again, we don't know what the ships are going to be or et cetera, or what the full maps and et cetera are going to be, but I went ahead and created a mock-up. This is what it typically looks like. We announced the week, so I copied it from week 30 of last season. Obviously, I didn't update that. It should be week 1 of season 2. Kraken Leviathans, we had our emblems in here. And what I want you guys to pay attention to is down here. This is not yet live, but it will be rolled out for that week's. So it actually is live for these individuals. Admirals, if you're a main admiral or just a team admiral, you will be able to message and see everything and message inside of here. Your staff will be able to see a message inside of here for signups, etc. Your general team will only be able to see this. And the reason that they're going to be able to see it is we're going to have the weekly bot where we rather than saying, hey, how many people are you going to pull? Kieran's, you haven't given us an update. Are you going to have, what are your numbers looking like? Rather than that, there's going to be an Apollo bot where each of your team members, so if you see here, every single Kraken and Leviathan has visibility to it, where they individually sign up and say, yes, I will be attending inside of the NSL Discord. So that way they all receive the notification and they're held to their own account. So it's less on you guys and more putting it on to the player, and we know who's going to be attending. Mercenaries will not currently, is how I'm envisioning it, have visibility here, because we will also be putting the full server information, and we do not necessarily want the mercenaries to have the full server information, so they will still continue to receive that via the mercenary distribution immediately before the match.
So for some of you guys for whom this is your first season of the NSL, as you can see here, the most important information that you can give us is the name of the captains who are going to be in charge of each of the ships. That is something that you're going to give us sort of your initial name for all the captains. And then, of course, things do change. So that's okay. Mm-hmm. After the battle is finished, you can also come back and say, actually, this person didn't end up showing, just like this. So that's great.
So here's the doctor changed.
Exactly. So you can see that the doctor changed and gave us an update after the battle or before the battle, right? So that's the big thing that we need to know is who's going to be the captains, who's going to be in charge of the different ships. And then any questions that you have, you can feel free to ask us there. These first few weeks, just at any point, don't be afraid to ask for help or I don't know this. I have this stupid question about how this works. Do we do this? Do we do that? These are perfectly legitimate places to ask those questions. You can also just DM myself, Gunnar, Atticus, any of the ex-admirals. We're always happy to help you. The Naval Sports Commission is here to serve you guys throughout this process, so please avail yourselves of it. Okay.
That should be me for weekly process and launch.
All right. So, yes, go ahead.
For the roster applications, can that also ping like staff instead of just the admiral role?
I'd prefer it doesn't ping staff because I don't want to have too many individuals being able to approve. Because if you're in that channel, it means that anyone has the ability to process them. So essentially, you should be able to have 3 individuals able to process it. Adding an additional 16 to 20 people that might see and misclick, I'd want to try to avoid, but it's definitely something that we could talk about.
Yeah, we could talk about it. That is, I could see it. So if it's something you guys really want, it's just if we find over time that it's too messy, we might
being abused,
draw it back a little bit. Yeah. Well, I don't think anybody can abuse it, but I think more likely it's going to be like, oh, misclick, or I accepted somebody for somebody else. Yeah. Oh, I thought it was me, or whatever. So just make sure that the guys that you have brought in as staff officers, many of who are here, are just competent people who aren't going to make those mistakes as little as possible, and we'll try to accommodate. Any other questions about signups, registration, any of that so far?
I had one about the signing up to the events. If it's all one sign up that both teams are reacting to, would there be a way to separate the two groups, displaying the two groups separately so that it doesn't get jumbled into one long list?
Yes. So the how Apollo works is I could actually show it for a different internal event that we've used. Let's go over to find it.
It's gonna be one option for each regiment or something like that.
Yes. Yeah.
Better hope they click the right one. Not each regiment, each team.
Well, they're able to change.
I know you can.
Well, that's what you guys are going to be there for, keeping an eye on your signups and making sure that you don't have any weird.
But it's easier when these people who had years of being dumb can't see other things to react to. They only have one option.
I was about to say, if they're not locking.
I think you're overestimating the amount of thought people look at when they look at something and just click a button.
We'll see. We shall see.
It will be labeled.
Is it not a way?
I honestly think you can get around with it by forwarding it to your local event announcements in your server to try and help simplify it. If they're not already in the server, it'll give them a link, and then if they're already in there, they should be able to go straight to the message and react.
Well, with the Apollo bot, it works.
And again, just to go back to it, they have to be in this server. All participants have to be in the Naval Sports League server. Every team member needs to be in here. That's number one. Number two, absolutely, please, guys, just because we have our signups here doesn't mean that you shouldn't be making announcements in your own home servers and handling those people to do what they need to do on the weekly basis. We still are going to be relying on you to push your signups. Gunnar, we could show them a little bit later if it's taking a little long. No worries, but just keep it. Yeah. So what you're saying in answer to that question is there will be 2 different signups, one for each team.
Yep.
Great. Okay. So any other questions about this particular topic?
I've got one, so I'm just taking notes. I got confused a bit because I joined a bit later regarding the admirals and stuff. Could you just quickly just go over what each one is, what their role is? So you said sorry,
I'll start from the top.
Admiral, Chief Admiral, Vice Admiral. I got confused. Yeah. Awesome.
Right. So we have. There's the difference. There are 3. There are Admiral, Vice Admiral, Staff Officer. Admiral is the person who should be doing the majority of leading in battle. So that's going to be your number one admiral, right? I'm going to be the admiral for the Leviathans. I'm going to be leading the Leviathans in most of the battles. I'm also sort of the final authority on any decision making. That's your admiral, okay? Then you're going to have your vice admirals. These are the guys who are also going to sometimes, if I can't lead my team for 1 week, I'm going away, I have a vacation or something like that, these guys are going to step in, or maybe they are just guys who are going to fight the minority of the battles compared to me. They are also going to be guys who can have that sort of decision-making authority in the regiment when they're up to bat. The staff officers are not necessarily battle leaders. They are organizational leaders. So these are guys who are going to have an understanding of, they're here in these meetings. They know all the rules. Not only are they able to talk to us and the Naval Sports Commission who are running it, but they can also answer questions for their own teams when members of your teams may have questions about how things work, because you will have been here through the whole process with the admirals. But that does not, the staff officers don't have to be people who are commanding the fleets in battle. They can also just be people who just know things and help out. And if I have a question for your team and I can't get in touch with Kieran's, I think you're first RM, right? If I can't get in touch with Kieran's, I can reach out to you and ask you a question. Hey, I see your signups are a little light this week, Kaba. Can you make sure that you're pushing for signups? Or hey, Kaba, I'm waiting for you to tell us who is captaining each of those ships. I don't have that information for you. Can you please make sure that gets put into the thread that we've made for your next upcoming battle? That kind of stuff. Okay?
Thank you so much.
No problem. Okay. So we are going to, I'm going to push this. Let's see. Okay. So I think this is a little bit involved in registration. It's a little bit on the side, but I'm going to bring it up real quick, which is that we need from every participating team at least one correspondent for every game that you are not participating in. So let me make sure that some of those words might not make sense to some of you new guys. When we are, this is streamed, right? This is live streamed. This whole thing is live streamed. You can watch it as it's playing out. Correspondents are the guys who are basically the cameramen who are capturing different angles of the battle. We call them correspondents. There will be, in every battle, there will be 3 hosts, myself as the main host for most of them, and then we're going to have a host. Each one of the hosts are going to be probably looking at each team's perspective. So like I'll be the central host. There will be one host that's going to be on the French team. There's going to be one host that's going to be on the British team, and they're going to talk about their perspectives. Those are the hosts, so the guys who are actually doing the talking, but there are going to then be the correspondents who are doing the filming. Mandatory this season, every team has to provide one person to be that for every battle that they're not actively in fighting. Right. So if it's your week, for example, if it's the Leviathans versus the Krakens, right, neither the Leviathans nor the Krakens are going to have to send people from their teams to be a correspondent, because of course they're going to need their people to fight the battle. But on weeks where neither of those two teams are competing, they're going to have to donate one person from their team or whatever, from the regiment. It doesn't even have to be a person who's playing, to come and help us do that camera work. Okay. These people are going to have to be able to play the game on ultra settings. They're going to have to, all they have to do is they have to just come into the game, follow a few instructions on making sure that they have all their settings correctly. And then they're just going to share screen on Discord. There's no streaming or technology or any of that other stuff involved. It's just getting into the Discord, turning on your share screen, and then being in a chat with the director, who's going to use their perspective sometimes to show the stream. Okay, that's how we do it, and that's what we would need from all of you guys. If you cannot provide this every week, you cannot be a team in this league. It is that important to us to put out a really good-looking stream. This is about not just the competition, but the spectacle, and so it is something that I will be asking every single team to provide every single week. My suggestion would be to poll internally in your regiments and get like 3 guys, because that's usually what it's going to be. You'll be playing probably once a month. There are going to be some off times where you might be playing twice a month, but hopefully not too many. You're going to be playing once a month, which means you're going to have 3 off weeks. And for those 3 off weeks, we're going to need somebody from your regiment to be cameraman. If there's a guy in your regiment who loves doing it and he wants to be there for everyone that you guys aren't playing in, so be it. I don't care how you do it, but we need somebody every week. Does anybody have any questions about that? Okay, is this something that we all feel like, is there anybody who cannot put out this sort of that minimum that we're asking of just, again, for 3 weekends of the month to provide us one person who can stream on ultra settings, who can help us out with the stream? Is there anybody who cannot do that? Okay.
I think some people might. Well, hang on. There definitely might be the issue of promotion ceremonies and things like that happen at the same time as the NSL, which is why sometimes we can't get as many mercenaries. So it's just something that we might have to bear in mind, that a lot of other regiments have, things on as well that are the same time zone. But yeah,
and I definitely do understand that, and that is why we're not asking for like a team from you guys. We just need one body from your team, one person that you can spare who might be able to do that. We're not talking about hosts, right? Who have to come in and
I know.
So, and that's we try to do as much internally as we can here, as I'm sure you guys know. But there are some things that like we just cannot. We cannot create like I wish X could just fill out every spot there, but and we will. I'm sure there will be plenty of X people who will be on top of those. Ideally 6 people that all of you guys are sending, right? Each sending 1, 2 teams are competing out of a total of 8 teams. So there should be 6 people coming in to the correspondence booth and joining us. And X will try to probably put 2 or 3 more there. So we have tons of angles and lots of opportunities to capture this. But so with that understood, again, we're asking you to make a sacrifice for us of just a single person from every one of your teams. Again, it doesn't have to be the same person every time. It probably shouldn't be. And that way we have a rich group of people who can help us out and make this look good. But if again, you guys have to let me know. You can DM me privately. It's perfectly fine. But that is, we didn't want to have to do it, but again, I do feel like it is required. Anyway, I don't want to go on. Let me know if you need to talk about that. Okay. Like I said earlier, there'll be 3 hosts per game. We have a lot of guys who have some hosting experience. I'm going to be calling for a lot of those guys. To be a host, you must have corresponded with us. So there's not going to be somebody who's just like, I think I've got a great voice and I think I'll be good. You got to put in the time for multiple corresponding assignments with us. And then that's no guarantee that you're going to be a host. The hosts are the people that I think bring the energy and the unquantifiables that make for a good show. So I apologize in advance. Some people are going to want to be hosts that are never going to be hosts. There are some people who will be hosts more often than others. I try not to be, have too much favoritism in any way, but I am going to choose the people that I like the best, that perform the best, that are as excited as possible when they get time to speak, that are enthusiastic about helping out, right? Those are the people I'm going to select for. So that's just something to consider. All right. At this point, I want to switch it over to a conversation about the schedule. Atticus is our schedule master. So Atticus, are you ready to give these guys a few details about the schedule?
Yeah. So let me just bring the stream up. Hello, everyone. Good to see you all. So season 2 will start on the 15th of March. That's what we can tell you now. It'll run 15th of March through 25th of October with a playoff afterwards. Now, the playoffs probably won't be as extensive this season as they were last season. It'll probably be just the top 4, and it'll be first be fourth, second be third, 2 winners in the final. However, going back to, so we've got these dates now. That is 26 dates. We have 28 matches to get through in the regular season, which means on July 26th and August 2nd, now these dates aren't set in stone, but we are looking at doing double headers on just those 2 weekends. If we need to move them, we can look at moving them, but for now, that's where they lie, and that'll be first game an hour earlier than the usual time slot. We did it during the playoffs last season. It was a stressful period, and I hated doing it, but in order to make sure, because we're starting the league 2 weeks later than we wanted to, we've lost those 2 weeks. No teams have been assigned letters yet. I've only got letters out here. So game 1 will be Team E versus Team F. Team H and G, C and D. They're all color coded just for ease of looking at. You'll notice no team plays 2 weeks in a row except for Team B here, where they will play on the 19th of July and then again on the 16th of July during the first doubleheader. For that reason, Leviathans will be Team B in this schedule. The other teams will all be assigned randomly once we've got confirmation and team names in, so that I can make a proper schedule for you to all look at. The other thing to note is the first 4 dates here are in bold and got a little red box around them. After these 4 games are going to run under the rules that we introduce. After those 4 games, we're going to have a meeting with the admirals of each team to go over what's working and what isn't. We're all in the land of the unknown now with this new update. Yes, we've been to a few beta tests. Yes, we've seen a few things, and a few of the how the game's going to work, stuff like that. But we don't have enough information, and we won't have enough information about what makes a good balanced match. So we're going in with what we think will work. At the end of those 4 weeks, we're going to want everybody's input on what's working and what's not. And from that point of view, it won't be I'm losing because of this. Is it working as part of a competitive game? So, as you play and as you watch, and even as you play in the game in normal events, think on things like this. But we'll have a meeting between the 19th and the 26th of April to discuss that. Otherwise, yes, the matches will be assigned. The maps, I'm waiting on, obviously, again, because the update hasn't dropped, we don't have a confirmed map list. So once we do that, the maps will be randomly assigned to each match. And we haven't decided on how the wind's going to work. We think we've got an idea. We need to test it. So the 2 weeks between that between the update dropping and the match start and the NSL starting, we will make sure that the wind acts fairly like it used to. That's our aim, to try and get it to sort of what it was like. You may find that the ships go a little faster this season than last season, but again, that's all to do with how the game has evolved. Apart from that, so with the schedule, the idea will be to make sure everyone has it at least 1 week, a full agreed schedule 1 week before the league starts, so you'll know the maps and wins for all the game. Everything will be random, and again, with the wind, we will make sure that for every map there is no direct in-your-face wind. Worst case scenario, it will be towards you and off to 45 degrees left or right of your fleet start point. Are there any questions?
No, but that sounds pretty good.
Excellent.
So you're banking on 2 weeks to have your NSL config ready to go?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we've got first drafts already. So, but of course it's just we don't know if every, you understand. I'm sure you're involved in all this stuff. So it's just a matter of seeing what the final product looks like and then making some tweaks. But we are, Killam specifically is well on his way to working out what we think is going to be a good starting point for this. Again, I'd love to tell you all about it. Some people here are not NDA'd, but more importantly, we don't want to set expectations and then douse them later on.
After those first 4 weeks, there could be some rule changes that we'll all agree on. Okay, for the good of the good of the league, for the good of the spectacle, for the good of the battle. Things that maybe we haven't seen in the testing or the sneak peeks of update that we've seen, that we went, oh wait, we overlooked this, and that's for all of us to discuss.
Yeah. Right. So as we're
sort of
moving on,
ship comp.
Yeah, so let's talk about that, because there are a few things that we can talk about, and so I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about what I think that we can say at this point. So the first thing is the ships, as we stand now, is we are looking for 2 of the 13 gun type ships, right? Those of you who know why I'm calling the 13 gun type, so that's 2 of those per team. with 3 8-guns, 1 of the new ship, and 2 gunboats. That is why the numbers are so important this season, to have them high. And then, of course, something that very specifically needs to be spoken about with all of you is mercenary service. We're going to talk, Atticus is going to talk a little bit more in a few minutes about how the individual players are going to compete on the individual level right now, sorry, in next season. But the grand point here is that it is very important for all teams to heavily encourage your players to act as mercenaries on the weeks that you guys do not compete. What does that mean? That means that every time 2 other teams that are not yours compete, that your crew who are on your team can sign up to be mercenaries. They will support and add manpower to those teams up to 50. Teams are we're looking for 50 I think 50 people total. 50 people total for each team. So if you bring 50, that's great. You're not going to have any mercenaries. If you bring less than 50, we will give you mercenaries so that both teams are equal in number. Okay, and those mercenaries are going to be guys from other teams who come in and they are motivated to perform at their highest because they are up for their own financial and glory awards at the end of the season based on personal performance. Okay, so these guys will come to play. We've seen it in previous seasons that they come and they fight their hearts out every game, as mercenaries or not. Does everybody understand that concept, that your guys in here are going to be also asked to perform mercenary service? It's voluntary, if they don't do it, they don't do it. But like, we're going to need probably 20 mercenaries per game on average. And from 8 teams, I think that's a fair ask. But does anybody have
also able to have
any questions about how that works?
more than 50 members? I'm just asking.
No.
Or is it capped at 50 members, or can we bring more?
Yeah, we don't want more than 100 people in the server. 100 players in the server. There might be a few more for the guys who are filming and the hosts and stuff like that. But like, of the players. So again, if your team brings 50, great. That's your team. You can't bring more than 50. When it comes to mercenaries, it's going to be first come, first serve signups, right? So the person who clicks sign up as a mercenary first is going to probably guarantee himself a slot. But if we have 40 and 40 team players, not counting the mercenaries, and we have 30 signups for mercenaries, only the first 20 who sign up are going to get in. And for those of you who don't understand how we do our mercenary assortments, what we do is we use, because we track everybody's data, all their average scores, all sorts of metrics on how they perform during their battles in the NSL only. We use those to create, there's a leaderboard that will be public for you guys all to look at. And so when we get those mercenary signups, we divide up, okay, the first person on the leaderboard, like the top leaderboard player is going to go to this team. Then the second is going to go to that team. Then the third is going to go to the other team. And so we divide them up so that you're getting a relatively equal picking of the mercenaries based off of skill, with the first people that we divide up being, well, of course, people who sign up first, but when we're dividing them up, we make sure to give you guys equal amounts of very skilled players.
So, just on that note, if we're looking at 100 people,
Mm-hmm.
are we sure the NSL servers can handle that? We have normal event servers when we do a Naval event that can barely handle an 80v80. And I'm using a full dedicated
AGS
machine.
has...
I don't think Podcast can
AGS has assured us that they are AGS has assured us that they are increasing the capacity of Naval servers.
That, and also, I think that we got confused by their Perseus. We're not doing 80 versus 80 in Naval. It's a 50-50.
Right, 50
no,
per team.
That's correct. No. Yeah, my bad. Yeah. I mean, it's fair.
Sorry, so just to get it straight, you're always aiming for that 50v50, never mind how many team players are there. So you're always looking to fill the rest of them up with mercenaries, for example. So say if each team brings 35 people, you're still going to fill it up with mercenaries. It's not just going to be the team versus the team.
Yes,
because we want to give people.
The main reason for this is because the minimum number to man all your cannons on this layout of ships that we've given is 44.
Yeah.
To man to man all wheels, all cannons, it's going to be 44. So and that's just flat crew sizes. That's not allowing for teams that have deck officers, for teams that have dedicated boarding members who or want to make a clown car out of their gunboats. You know what I mean? So 44 is what is the minimum. So we reckon let's just round that up to 50. We're very confident the server will be able to handle a 50v50 battle. So yeah. So I mean, if you brought 35, if two teams brought 35, that's going to be a lot of cannons not firing for a long time. If you take my meaning.
So that sounds terrible.
The numbers were numbering there, but then obviously I forgot about the thing that I can't mention. Obviously,
if you need 44 people to man all guns and captainships, but then you only get 6 ox, but yeah, you can. Well, I guess I can't say more, but that doesn't seem like enough.
You only get 6 what?
Auxiliary.
Like ox, auxiliary.
On top of okay. And I sort of know why you're angling on that. That's part of the reason, because we had a bit of not a disagreement. It was discussed. And I'll be open. I'm the one who pushed for the 50 number. There were some people who suggested 60. That's why after the 4 weeks, that is something that is definitely on the table for discussion of upping it, especially as by that point from regular events we'll have confirmation of what the servers can handle as well and what the game can handle. For the 100, let's be honest, if we upped it to 60, 120 in a server, we know it's going to run fine. But just I'm being a little conservative on the numbers for the first 4 games, and then that limit is definitely on the table for discussion.
We have to see what the mercenary response is.
Is there potentially not a way to do a test run like a week prior to actual matches that actually land, that are like seeding, for example, for, places? Because obviously if you're the first match and the servers don't handle well, or, the update's probably going to have teething issues, and 2 weeks is probably not going to be a lot of time to handle bugs. If you're in that first team and, the site goes particularly wrong, one's probably going to be pretty aggrieved for losing points.
Percy, we'll have the data on what the servers can handle from our regular events.
Yeah, we'll have 2 weeks of regular events, hopefully. And I know they're going to, like you said, they're probably going to be tweaking things throughout that time. Yes. But
I'm just going off the
I don't
fact
think
that games usually
100. Yes.
I think being like conservative, potentially, maybe we just need to be on the air side of caution. That's just my own sort of like idea of it, but
yeah, you can be sure that we are going to do everything in our power to make sure that by the first week we have a full understanding of how things are going to go, and that's why 100 people. We could have done it last season with 100 people. Like the servers could handle 100 people now, right? So that's why we're really feeling like that is the safe number to start with. Unless AGS releases something that just like does not work, which is out of our control, unfortunately. And then that will necessitate a delay. I mean, if that's what it is, if they release this and it doesn't work, then that's a whole different, we'll communicate with you as we make those decisions.
Also, part of the reason that we have that player limit on there is, yes, in theory, you need 44 in order to fill out the entire boat, but that's 44 of your total fleet, including mercenaries. We have 8 teams. There's more teams. There's a lot more people participating this season than last season. So there will be a number of weeks where we will not be able to have every single merc inside the match. It's not going to be possible, because if we allow every single merc, there's times that even when, let's say, X and KRN aren't playing and it's 44th playing and TRR. 44th and TRR, I know you guys are bringing 40 to 50 just in land easily, sometimes up 60, 70 plus. If you bring your 40 and then KRN's not playing and X isn't playing, us combined are going to have another 40, 50 potential mercenaries. It's going to happen. So that's why we can't have, we're trying to limit it to 50 per people a team, because otherwise it's just it will go haywire in terms of the numbers.
Yeah. and that's why that's going to be first come first serve, because I mean otherwise it's really not a fair way. Like, I don't want to make it so that only the best players get put in. I just everybody should have a chance.
I've got a question regarding Merkin.
Sorry.
Oh, I was going to say. I'll go then. Can admirals merc? Is anyone restricted for merking, or is it just?
No.
As long as your team is not playing. Yep. As long as your team is not playing, you can go and merc.
Somebody else had something to
the other
ask.
question?
Oh yeah. I was just going to ask: have you foreseen any issues with the console accessibility? How's that going to work? I mean, console players, are they going to be able to join?
Yeah.
Even?
Yeah, we are anticipating the console players are going to be able to fully participate.
Yeah, is that going to be with the same maps and all sorts, or have you got?
Right. So we can talk about maps real quick. And by the way, I feel like I'm talking over. I feel like there's a delay for me. I apologize to other admirals who are trying to answer questions. I'll take all these questions and pass them off to you guys if I don't know the answer. But real quick, let's talk about the maps. I regret to inform NSL veterans that the likelihood is we are not going to be starting with the Coliseum map that we are all used to, which is a very sad development, unfortunate. But what we are going to be doing is we are going to be utilizing a huge amount of the available new and old maps that AGS is giving us with this expansion. So basically, there are some maps that are too small to use, that are meant for small scale engagements. We will obviously not be using those. However, any of the regular size maps, and they are, we are going to have some maps, I don't know how much I can say here, but we're going to have some maps that you guys will be familiar with from the NSL that are going to be in the base game. And so there will be many maps, and all of them will be console friendly.
Hooray.
Any other questions?
These maps, are they
I have one
circular?
about...
Or are they like square? Also, sorry for cutting you off.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Let me answer. Amit, what did you say? Can you repeat?
The maps, it may not look like an arena, but are they circular in nature so that we don't have to worry about getting stuck in like 90-degree angle corners, or are they like normal AGS style
We
maps?
can't answer that.
Oh, got it. Okay.
Right.
We can't answer that.
Yeah, not only can we not,
it does
but
worry
we
me
literally
purely
can't.
based on the vanilla
So
maps
there's
as
a
they stand
chance.
have absolutely awful hitboxes for islands and such, and like you'll often get stuck on no terrain. So I'm wondering if that. Do you know if that's going to be a problem?
Well,
that's
yeah,
that's the thing I was saying. 2 weeks of
Yeah,
testing. It's going to be like.
I mean, this is it. I mean, guys, I understand your concerns here, but we're all going into this new era together here. It's gonna have its speed bumps. It's gonna have the things that we're all not gonna know. We are all not going to know it together, and we're all going to discover it together. And if somebody hits an island in the middle of one of their NSL battles, there is an equal chance that any of us might hit an island during one of our NSL battles. If they're the borders are weird and interfere, it could happen to anybody, and therefore it is incumbent on you as the competitors to get into pubs and play, to get yourself familiar with these, to get in and explore this new game and this new era that we're all going to be in. But I will say, I'm not really going to be too partial to complaints about like, oh, we didn't know this, or this wasn't, the AGS didn't make a good map. Like, we have no choice but to use what AGS is going to give us, right? And we are all using the same maps, and we are all using the same ships, and we are all competing on that same level. So that makes it still fair, even if it ain't perfect, unfortunately. Does anybody have any other questions?
Hang on. Next up.
Yep. Yeah, I had a question about the mercenary. What do we do if we have a bad behavioring the mercenary? Do we have to do a ticket with you, or?
So,
if
to make sure I understood the question, you're asking if there is a mercenary who's not doing a good job? that what you're saying?
No, not about the skill. Yeah, bad behavior, like trolling, trolling others. Not about the skill.
That's where you message in purple for arena managers.
We also do have admins, or we call them managers, in the arena at the time. Obviously, GD new team, you don't have as much experience as some of these others, who will either pick up on that, or if you purple chat it, and that player will be most likely banned. If it's we'll have plenty of cameras around to go and have a look, to confirm we'll have video, and they will be ejected. Touch wood, it hasn't happened yet. This is we're going into our second full year. We had a full year last year. We had half a year the year before. We have never had any issue with mercenaries trolling, and we would like to keep it that way.
I think the most important thing to remember is that as admirals and leaders of your team, you guys get to choose if you don't want somebody on your team, which is to say, if somebody is making issues for you, if somebody is trolling, like you said, you just tell us and we'll get rid of them, because our goal is to make this a good experience for you guys, so that the battles are fair, the battles are sportsmanlike, right? Anybody, and of course we're not talking about the reason I asked is because somebody not being very good at the game is not necessarily a reason to get them kicked out. But if they're running around loading all your cannons on your ships, for example, because I don't know, somehow they just don't know that that's not a thing that you should do, that gets to the point where that person can be removed. So you just say, hey, listen, we're requesting that this person this is what they're doing, admins, and we want them out. And then our admins, like Attica said, will zoom in, take a look, and we're going to trust you on this. So please use that responsibly. If we ever find out anybody ever uses this just to stop somebody who they don't think is good at the game or something like that, that will be a break in trust between us that you do not want to experience. So please don't bring us to that position. But for what you're asking, yeah, you guys are going to have a lot of control over getting those people taken off of your ships.
Understood. Thank you.
Any other questions about the concept of mercenaries or anything like that?
Yeah, I've got a question.
Sure.
Just to confirm, with mercenaries, so will we be able to pick and choose specific mercenaries, or will the mercenaries be able to choose which team they're allowed to go on, vice versa?
Good question.
No.
Good question. Yeah, no. So the way that the mercenary system works is that they sign up to a list, and then we, not randomly, because we're using their performance scores to determine which team they get randomly assigned to, but generally speaking, you have no choice in your mercenaries. And so they will be, so again, what happens is we get all those signups. What we do then is we create that list, we order them by skill, right? So based off of their results, their average scores in the NSL itself, we will make a list. At the top of that list is the best player. At the bottom of the list is the worst player of the people who signed up. And then those people will be divided in half, and half of them are given to one team and half of them are given to the other. But there is no way for you guys to choose who those people will be. And it's just a random process that we will do. Understood?
Yeah. Off that, if someone's been known to be a prick to your, if someone's been known to be a prick to your regiment in the past, and they get merc, and they sign up as a merc, you know what I mean?
We can adjust that, yes.
We're open to that, and you can let us know.
We do have procedures. Yeah. We do have procedures for that, and if you do let us know about any historical beef, let's call it, ahead of time.
But
I
this
say
is again for
keep them in the
an
fleet and let them
individual
swim to the enemy.
or two, not a full regiment. This is not for a full regiment. This beef with us. This is an individual or two.
Yeah, and guys, like, if there's anybody here that you are like, I will not play with these people, you got to let us know now, because then you guys, we don't want. We're going to get to it a little bit later in this meeting, but this is an extremely peaceful, adult, like, no edginess community, no drama community at all. And anybody who breaks that decorum is going to be escorted out of this competitive league. I cannot stress it highly enough. This is a league of gentlemen and gentlewomen competing in a sportsmanlike conduct. When you lose, when you win, you approach each other and you speak to each other with absolute respect. Some of you guys are going to have the opportunity to get on the stream and talk about your performances after these battles during those times, and in all communications with anybody in the NSL, you guys have to put your best foot forward, and that's not, again, one of those things that are not negotiable. It's very personally important to me, and I will make sure that everybody is being treated with respect in this league. If there are individuals, one-off things where this person has done things to me, please explain that to us with as much lead time as possible. And we will do our best, but please don't bring your dramas into the NSL as best as you possibly can to not do that.
We won't stand for it.
Yeah.
Just straight up, no drama here.
The collegiality of the previous seasons has been one of the biggest prides for me in running this league. I think everybody who's participated in previous seasons will agree. It makes this competition so nice to be a part of. I'm sorry, I see my internet connection is not great. Is everybody hearing me okay?
Yeah, you're good.
Yep. Yeah, we're hearing you fine.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I know there's some kind of delay, and I apologize for that. Yeah, it's one of the things that we're like most proud of in this community. So please, especially for you guys who are newcomers, your drama, of course, is not going to be something that's going to be a part of this league. And I'm not saying that anybody here is bringing any drama, but please try to be very judicious about asking us about something that has to do with, like, groups or anything like that. Like, I need you to try and sort it out yourself in every situation before you bring it to us. But if you do bring it to us, we'll do our best to help. Okay.
Yeah.
That said,
simple enough.
Let me look at
my
list
guys.
here.
Don't do anything because I will shit talk the first RM. Okay. I love you, Kyle.
Yeah, we don't want any X in our fleet because we despise pirates. So
I refuse to play with Percy. That was funny.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Who are you?
See, this is what I like.
Mark, do you want to talk about arena management at all?
So no, we're not going to talk about that just yet. I don't think today.
Okay.
I mean, what I really want to talk about, because we kind of touched on it a little bit. All right, you know what? Do you is it just? Do you want to tell them a little bit about how it works, basically?
Yeah, I'll keep it short and sweet.
Go ahead.
So, to every single team here, you guys all are welcome, and it's not yet required. I hope that we don't have to require it. We haven't had to require it last year. Unlike correspondence this year, we are requiring a correspondent from each team every week. This league runs very, very, very openly. We try to be open doors, transparent about as much as possible. In that, we have all of the matches are adminned by the arena management team. Typically, it is myself. However, when Leviathans are playing, we do not ever want to have the Leviathans adminning themselves. So we have an entire team, and I want to have 1-2 members from each team as arena managers. So that way, given any week, if others want to come help admin, so that they could learn adminning, and then also run the admin show when the Leviathans are playing, that it is completely open and transparent, and it's not us adminning ourselves. So every team should have 1 or 2 people with arena management roles and in perms. Okay. That's my absolute want and desire. It's not technically needed, but in the name of transparency, that's what we aim for.
Do you want to talk about what an arena manager does each match?
Yeah, sure. So arena management, they'll be quick too. So you guys, as an arena manager, you do not have to worry about setting up Discord channels. You do not have to worry about setting up the server. You don't have to worry about doing mercenary distribution. We will take care of all of that for you. Essentially, arena managers are in charge from not even in the lobby. We'll still manage that and making sure that everyone's getting inside of the match, and then we will launch from the lobby into the actual match. Once the match begins, it is over to the arena manager to maintain the standards of the NSL. Typically, really comes down to enforcement of 3 rules, really. The first one is making sure that each team, when again, we don't know the boat decisions yet, but at the start of the round is only utilizing 2 of their small boats, whether it be a rocket boat and a gunboat, or 2 rocket boats or 2 gunboats. Making sure that only 2 are active at a time, making sure there's no intentional or accidental friendly fire, and then when the match ends, again, we don't know the rules for it yet, but before it was if all the capital ships of the 13 gun and the 8 gun sunk, even if there were gunboats alive, ending the round then. So it's only 2 boats active, intentional or accidental team damage, especially in the spawn areas, and then ending the round. Those are the only 3 things that they really have to watch out for. Honestly, it's a lot easier than being a correspondent. You just get to fly around and have fun.
All right. Any other questions on any of that stuff? Okay. Well, speak up if you have any.
You'll post an NSL rules, right? Any updates?
Yeah. So again, the NSL rules are not gonna. We're not gonna have them until after the update drops. So
yeah, that's what I mean.
There are, yeah. So of course, I think largely we're gonna try and hew towards the same concepts that we were running with last season. But of course, we have to just update to specify, all the different things that are going to be added on after the update. But yes, there will be a master list of all NSL rules that you guys can go to ask any questions or dispute things if something doesn't seem right. So that will be available to you guys before the first match starts, at least, and hopefully sooner. As soon as we can get them. That's okay. That's not really something we can cover too much today for the multiple reasons I discussed earlier.
Question: will we have meeting notes for this? I have written notes, but just if you guys have a more comprehensive meeting notes, if that makes sense.
Amit is recording right now. I'm sure some other people are recording. Amit is always very excellent at when he does a recording of making tags throughout the video about the major topics so that you can go back and refer and listen to what we're talking about. I don't know that we'll have a written list of the minutes or anything like that. I don't think anybody's taking that down right now, but the video that Amit releases will very likely get you to where you need to go to listen to the relevant information that you might need to be reminded of. And of course, if you have any questions, you can always just contact myself or any of the other admirals.
I can see if I can get the YouTube
Thank you.
auto transcript to export or something like that. If not, then timestamps are your friend. But I'm very meticulous about the timestamps, including who is asking the question, so that should help.
Okay. Yeah.
I can't promise that the timestamps will be all there today, but
floor's open for any other questions.
I have a question for Gunnar.
Thank you, Amit. We appreciate it.
Yep, what's up?
Does it jiggle?
Wiggle, wiggle. Thank you.
No. Next question.
All right, guys. Something I am extraordinarily excited to talk about, something that Atticus and I have been debating and fine tuning, and I think this is going to be a welcome update to how people's scores are calculated in the NSL. We have endeavored to create a system that is ever more and more fair and also encourages people to play as much as humanly possible in the NSL, whether it's for their team or as a mercenary. So Atticus, please explain to these guys what we're going to be doing when it comes to scores next season, because this is like a highlight for me.
Okay, so I'm just going to show on the screen again and give you a brief demonstration. So this is the leaderboard from last season. Ignore the position numbers because they're based on a longer list. So we all know that last year it was the highest average score of for all players who played over 15 games. That was 50% of the games. We know that at the very end, we know that Spicy led the whole season and was pipped by Icy, who got his 15th game in the last game. And his average came out higher. And no two ways about it. We felt a bit embarrassed by that some guy who hadn't been on the leaderboard, because I know a few of you here were following yourselves on the leaderboard all season, suddenly, boom, popped up after the last game. And give him his due, he didn't attend these games because he had no PC for that period, so otherwise he would have. So next season, we're going to do it differently for the main leaderboard. Rather than be your average over your over half the games, rather than be an average for people who played half the games, it's going to be open to everybody. And how it's going to work is it's going to be the average of your top N number of scores. Now, I've set it for 10 for last season because these are last season's numbers, but based on the fact that we have 28 games, it will be a divisible of 28, and we'll let you know ahead of time what that is. But essentially, what will happen is you play your first. Let's just say, for instance, based on last season, you play your first 10 games, and that's your average, right? So that's Spicy's first 10 games. Then he plays his 11th game, and he scores 1185 points. That replaces his lowest score here, because now that is part of his top 10 scores. So every game you play, once you hit your number, that's the minimum you will ever be. Every game you play, if you score higher, your average will go up. If you score lower, your average stays where it was, because that score won't be counted as part of the average. So if we were to apply that to last season, if I just open up all the games and then on a top 10 average, you'll see that it would have been Spicy top, Icy, Shadow, McCandless, Verita, and so on and so forth. It's a fairer system for those people who, partly for those who can't make every game and they get to be included. You see, all these people, everybody here would be, and I think this is only a subsection, really. I don't know what my cutoff was for this subsection, but so for instance, if you were to play. Let's say it was 10 games and you only played 9, your 10th game would be a 0. So that would drag your average right down. That encourages people to play, people to go. And like I say, once you've hit your peak once you've played your first 10 games, for instance, that's your number. It'll never go down. It can only go up. And if you have a blockbuster game, it'll go up by more. Apart from that, we're looking at probably the same stats as last year, captains, and things like that. Now, due to some of the changes that we can't talk about, it's not going to be as one-sided, I think, the scores this season, as related to positions on a ship, and that's as much as I can say about that. Okay, it's going to be far more open. But if we do start to see any anomalies, what we might do is take out that section and put it somewhere else. But we'll talk about that going forward. But yeah, this is the main big thing, that the overall player leaderboard will be expanded to include everybody who plays, and the actual leaderboard will be based on the average of their top games, the best games they play. And so if you come in as a mercenary and you get sat in a gunboat with a swivel gun and you score 20 points the whole game, it doesn't drag your average down. It's just disregarded. So you don't have that. So now I know Spicy here didn't. He played every game like a fucking machine. But for the guys who didn't, they don't have to get to a number and go, "Oh, I'm happy with that. I'll stick on that." There's nothing to put you.
There's no reason not to. There's no reason not to play a game. And that's the goal, is to make it so that it is an attractive option to play every single game that you can possibly make it to. And the number that we're looking at right now, again, it's not final, but we're going to try and make it pretty close to the amount of actual team games that you play, so that people who just show up for, even if people just show up for every one of your team games, they too will make it to the leaderboard by just that fact that they were there for the weeks that your team is actually on. And then if they come to more, great, more opportunities for them to increase their season score. And so that's the hope, is that we make it so that there are so many names on the leaderboard, and that it's not some elite club. Everybody's going to get on it and see how they rank up compared to everybody else. Any questions?
The system will work, except for one thing. Dan is still on this list, so remove Dan Franklin, and the system is perfect.
Beautiful.
I mean, so just remove Dan Franklin from this list, and the system will be perfect.
Okay. Change his name to Spicy Franklin.
Yeah, there we go.
Correct.
Okay. No. Any questions or comments on this? Does everybody kind of understand what's happening here? Is there anybody who does not really get what we just talked about? Because I can definitely try to explain it again. All right.
We will
play every
scores. We will keep all the other scores, like the top mercenaries and stuff. But go on, sorry.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, this goes way back to the beginning when you had the first spreadsheet up. Was that you have 1 admiral, 2 vice admirals, and then 3 staff members? In the coloured boxes, it was Gunner, I think, had that.
Yeah, you may have come in a little bit late in the meeting. We did cover all that stuff a little earlier. Feel free to ask.
Apologies.
No, it's no problem. If you want, we can review the video and rewatch. We talked about that pretty extensively, or you can ask some of the guys who were here. But the major breakdown is Admiral leads the fleet. They are that is the number 1 battle leader, person who's leading the fleet the most. The vice admirals are some of the guys who may step in for the admiral when he's not available to lead the fleet, and then the staff officers are people who are here at these meetings. They hang around with the admirals and learn the same things that the admirals learn. They're accountable for answering questions to us at the Naval Sports Commission when we ask, like, okay, where's your signups? Who are your captains? If we can't get in touch with your admirals, you're the guys who we're going to come to as staff officers. That's the long and short of it. Okay,
thank you for going over that. Again,
let me take
me being daft.
Of course. No. You just weren't here for it. It was something we covered right in the beginning. All right, so we talked about registration. We've talked about the schedule. We've talked a little bit about the stream. So there's some stuff I want to talk about when it comes to social media or community content. This is something I'm very excited about as well. Oh, one quick thing, just to have made sure that I said it. Okay, for these games, we're talking a lot about the scores, right? We're talking all about the scores, and we're keeping track of all the scores. For those of you who are new, your players must stay until we switch from the battle back to the lobby at the end of the battle. Do not let them leave the server until the battle finishes and you see that win-loss screen, and then it actively switches over to back to the lobby at the end of the battle. Tell all of your crew, if they want their scores to be recorded, but they leave before that moment, we don't have their score. Okay? Can't stress that enough. Your teams must stay until we go back to the lobby. Once we're back in the lobby again at the end of your battle, then you can leave, not before. Okay, just because we have some new teams here, that is like a fundamental thing you all have to know. All right, getting back to what I wanted to talk about. So, we are going to try, I am going to try specifically to really pump out content on our social media channels. We have the Twitch, we have the YouTube, we're going to try and get some TikTok stuff going on. We're going to try, I think that might be it. Maybe there's some more, but we're going to try and actually, really put this out to the world and try to get some viewership this season. This season's goal is all about getting viewers who are not actual participants in the league, and maybe get a following so that you guys can become, heroes to a public of adoring fans. Part of this, and something that I want you to communicate to your teams, is something that we're calling the Wardroom Officer Analysis, sort of a community outreach or community partner program. We are going to have the YouTube channel, okay? We have done wardrooms in the past. If you don't know what a war room is, if you're new to the NSL, every few weeks I would get on and I would analyze the previous few battles. I will probably still be doing some of that. I will probably be inviting other voices to come in and join me for some discussions on those. But that's its own thing. I also want to open up to every single person in the NSL that has played at least one game in the NSL, past or as we're going into this new season. You will be able to make a 10-minute bit of content. What that means is you'll fire up OBS, you'll capture your voice, you'll capture your screen, and you can analyze anything. You got 10 to 12 minutes of time to talk about anything that you care about. It has to be a minimum of 10 minutes. That's usually good for the YouTube algorithms, and so it helps us. But what it is, for example, let's say Gunner, who plays a lot on the gunboats. Let's say Gunner wants to do a cross comparison between the gunboat play in the third battle of last season and the gunboat play in the finals of last season. Maybe he wants to talk about how the SCP gunboats, what they did so right on that finals, for example. And he takes 10 minutes. He pulls his screen up. He's analyzing. He can draw on the screen, right? Do whatever we would normally do during a war room, which is an analysis. And then he can take those files and submit them to me. What we will do is we'll put the NSL logo on it. We'll give them a title card with their name on it. This is a war room officer analysis, and they can be part of a conversation, hopefully a larger conversation that lots of people are producing over the course of the season to talk about whether it's recent battles, historical battles, strategy, tactics, how to use a ship, how not to use a ship. The topics and ideas that can be discussed in these are as creative as people can make them. There are just a few limitations, and that is that the content has to be extremely kind and gentlemanly to whoever you're talking about. Even if you want to critique somebody, that's allowed, but it has to be handled with the utmost respect to the subject. We don't want to be naming names. We talk, okay, the gunboat did this. The gunboat should have done that, right? Not Lemerc is an idiot. He should have done this. What a stupid asshole he is. I hope he never gets in charge of a ship again. It's got to be, the 13 gun had an opportunity to do this. Yeah, I know. It stops a lot of you from making all the videos you'd love to make, but unfortunately, that's what it is. But you really, it's something where if it's done respectfully and tactfully, and you are talking about the strategy and not necessarily the individuals, I have no problem with you shouting out people that you like, but I really don't want to see any negativity brought onto individuals. With that caveat, please encourage I hope that you guys who are all very experienced in the NSL, the new guys who have lots to say, your team members who are, legends in the NSL, great players, start conversations, put forth your analyses, come up with theories, name your theories, do whatever you want, right? I would love for there to be a tremendous amount of dialogue between these videos of saying, well, last week Merc made a war room saying this. I disagree. I think that this is the way to do this. And here are some examples that I could pull from the footage of when this worked, right? I have no problem with, again, sort of professional disagreements. That can be the lifeblood of a conversation. As long as it's done very respectfully, we're going to be opening it up to anybody who's played even a single game in the NSL. I hope that you will all take some time out of your week, even if you do it once a month. Sit down for 10 minutes, come up with a thesis, try to put it out, try to pull up some footage that proves it, and then you send that to us. We'll put the logo on it, and we'll put it out on our YouTube so that our YouTube is the home of all those conversations and analyses. That is something that I'm really excited about for the next season. To, again, just create more buzz, create more in-depth strategic thinking, and a culture in the NSL of people who are coming into this game, trying to be the best that they can be in this game mode, and pushing the envelope of what is good and bad strategy. So that's something that we'd like to offer for you guys all, and please tell all your crews that they are welcome to do it. Alongside that, we're going to try and do highlight reels, teaser trailers, explainer videos on some of the very basic stuff so that people who are new to the game can learn about the mechanics of the game, and all of us learn about the mechanics of the game because we're basically all going to be new to this game in a few weeks. I'm open, of course, to any ideas or suggestions about how we can improve that. And if any of you are interested in helping to produce that, I would be so grateful. Of course, it's not mandatory, but it would be a huge help. Otherwise, I'm going to probably be doing a lot of this stuff myself, which means I'm going to have absolutely no life whatsoever during the season. But that's okay.
I do have an idea.
One other major. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
I was just going to say, could we make it so admirals can select a faction? Because I know, obviously, you guys might want to play the pirates, and got some French crews and British crews. I just wondered if that's something we could implement.
we are going to try and use all the different factions. I don't know if we're going to be able to pick. I do think there is going to be some opportunity for picking ship names. However, that's something that we really want to give you guys the opportunity to do. Of course, this is a family-friendly broadcast, so these names are all going to have to be family-friendly. But aside from that, we do want you guys to be able to pick your ship names. So if you have a flagship name that you think is really cool, I certainly do. That should be something that we could put in the game. I cannot say 100% yes to picking your faction. I will discuss that with the team and see if that's something that we feel is doable without getting in the way of just keeping things a little bit random. I like the idea personally. That's my first feeling about it. Of course, keeping in mind that even if we did that, there would be no way to guarantee that you could always have your faction. But if you have a preference, we can try and take that into consideration. I'll talk to the guys and get back to you on that.
Not a bad way to do it, actually. Preference. Okay, never mind. Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt.
Yeah, I know you're writing stuff down. We just talked about this a little while ago before the meeting. Any other questions or comments?
Quick question in regards to the videos. Will they need to be edited by the individuals themselves and then sent off to the NSL team, or are you guys gonna just take over the voiceover and then edit that on your own behalf?
Yes. So what I would ask is that that person gives us their audio, and then so my ideal situation is these people download OBS, Open Broadcasting system. If you don't know what that is, please DM me. I'll try to help you get set up. I'm not that great with it myself, but I know enough. Okay, so you do that. You turn on. Oh, good, perfect. So you turn on your audio, you turn on your video. Like, I would like the prep that they have to do is they have to get the video of whatever they're talking about and get it as part of that recording. That they can then just send that raw, right? Whatever their 10-minute recording is, that 10 to 12-minute recording they make, they can just send that raw to myself. And then I will do any editing that needs to be done. I will put the title card on there. If there are like parts where they're maybe mumbling a little bit, I'll try to cut that out and put a transition or something like that between it, right? I'll try to make it nice as best I can. I want the person who produces it to have to do as little as possible. And that little as possible is get the audio and get the video of whatever they're talking about and then send it my way. Does that answer your question? I hope it does.
Oh yeah, that's perfect, man.
Yeah, the goal is to make it really easy for you guys to produce that content, because you're doing us a favor. You're doing us a favor by handing it over to us and letting us put it on our YouTube. That's going to help bolster that channel, which will hopefully help it to reach a newer audience. So we're kind of crowdsourcing the content in that degree. But I think it will, not only does it benefit us, it gets that person some name recognition with the community. It puts forward their ideas that can be tested and considered. It helps all the other teams to perform their own analyses based off of your. So I think it will not only enrich this community, it will help us reach larger audiences. That's why I think it's a good initiative. I'm really hoping people respond to it. So please, 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 if you're considering it, if you need help, ask me anytime. I will do everything I can to help facilitate you sending me these analyses and then getting and understand, we're going to try and have a video most days of the week if we can have it. So that might mean there might be a backlog of these because I'm not going to just dump every single one as soon as I get it. I apologize for that. If there's a delay, if we get a ton in, for example, I might have to strategically, choose which ones are going to get put out at what times. But if you submit it and it follows those rules of, being friendly and constructive in its criticism and congratulatory and talking about the good and the bad and making sure that people feel respected, even if they're being critiqued, then I will make sure it gets out. Any other questions about anything?
When's the bathroom break?
Yeah, I mean, we're kind of winding down at this point. I do feel like I've covered everything. Commissioners, NSL guys, is there anything that I missed that you guys wanted to talk about? Atticus, Gunner, X guys?
Not particularly, no.
Yeah. Okay, so I'll open the floor again to one last round of questions. If there's anything that you guys, of anything that we talked about that you have a question about, Otherwise, the hope is that by the end of today's meeting, you understand at very least how to get your teams set up in our Discord so that when we do start the league, you can get your signups, you can get ready, you can get the information that you need, the server information, right? And you can get us your ship assignments, who is captaining each of your ships. That's the number one thing that we're going to need from you. And in those first few weeks, we're going to do a lot of hand-holding to make sure that you guys know what we need from you, especially for the newer teams. But any questions about anything?
One thing, I haven't really done NSL since I'm a console player. Just a question regarding social media. For example, let's say if our regiment has a Twitch channel, would we be able to stream on that while you're also doing your thing on the NSL, or are you only allowed to do NSL? Let the NSL do their stream.
Well, I can't tell you not to
there?
stream, right? Yeah, I can't say you're not allowed to stream. If that's something that you want to do, that's your stream to do as you please. My request for you is that if you do stream, for example, if you stream your footage of your first-person arena, your perspective in the game, I would just request that you put information in your stream that funnels viewers to go check out the main NSL broadcast that we are doing. And in that way, at least, if you're participating in something that we've all put so much hard work into putting together, you're also just making sure you're giving credit where credit is due and hopefully encouraging your own viewers to come and check us out, just like they're checking you out. That would be my request. Of course, I'm not going to tell you what to do with your own stream.
No, thank you.
Yeah. The future is, of course, going to be one in which I foresee that main YouTube channel, right, and our main Twitch is the hub of an ever wider and growing community of people, some of whom are streamers. And, if you and the NSL can have a relationship that increases both of our followers and viewers and fans, that's good for everybody. That's the hope. Floor's open to any other questions.
Okay. Yeah, I was gonna ask. So obviously we have the you guys have already said that team size needs to be 30, but specifically with the new ship, the Corvette, what would be the minimum amount of crew that would be necessary to man the ship? Would you know, or is that?
We do know. We do know.
I don't think it's NDA breaking to tell.
I don't think it's NDA either. It's another 8 cannon ship.
Yeah. Oh, so you're looking at 5. You're looking at 5.
Right, 5. A captain and 4 gunners.
The ship in question was already shown in one of the trailers.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah,
so
see,
I don't think that's
NDA breaking.
crazy.
Thank you, Billy.
It's also screenshots.
Yeah,
too, yeah.
Legal loophole.
Yeah. Can't wait till you guys can all know what some of us who have signed NDAs know, because it's a wonderful new game. There are going to be major changes. I'm not going to say anything specific. What I will say are some things. First off, design. I was just talking to somebody in DMs just now about it. Our philosophy in designing the rules for the NSL are going to be to try and keep as many of these new things that they're introducing as part of the NSL. We don't want them to give us a bunch of new toys and us go, well, that's not how we used to do things. We're not doing any of this, right? The goal is to embrace what they're giving us as much as possible, while still making a difference between public play, regular play, and the competitive and contemplative and strategic battles that we have come to expect from the NSL, right? That's our philosophy going into this, to keep as much as we can and maybe adjust things on the periphery to help them to be, again, at a more competitive level. But I think on the overall, without saying any details and breaking NDA, we're going to be finding a lot more close battles in which things like boarding actions and marine combat are going to have a bigger role. Yeah. It may not be that they have some kind of, we're trying to balance that out. We want the arty sweats, the guys who love their cannons, and the melee sweats, the guys who love their melee, to have an equal chance of their play style leading to victory. That's our goal. It's never going to be perfect, right? but something along those lines. So one of the things I was most excited about with this update was the love and care that they seem to be putting on the idea of, like, boarding an enemy ship, and what those things that they put in that facilitate that. So we don't want to shy away from that. My regiment is an Artie Sweat regiment. We hate boarding, and yet it's important for us to make sure that just because of our preconceived biases that we don't that we're not hostile against that as a play style, because some of the best games in previous seasons have been games in which things have gotten like real close and dirty and hectic, and that's made for fun moments. We want to encourage those. So again, without getting into any specifics, that's where our head is at right now, and that's probably the most I could say about it, unfortunately.
Yeah.
All right. As always, we are here to serve you guys. This league is a labor of love. And so please utilize us if you have thoughts, if you have questions, if you want our help setting up, if you want us, we've done a skirmish. We did a battle with the 44th. That was really fun, where they wanted to get their head around some NSL style battle. And we fought, X brought out our team, our competitive team, and we fought them. And if you utilize whatever means necessary to get yourself ready for this upcoming competition, because the teams that are coming back from last season are coming to play. I can promise you that. This is not a competition. This is not a competition for like casual play. This is, please come to win. We will be expecting you to come and put your strongest foot forward, to come up with strong strategies and ideal scenario. You are always trying to win, and something, this is, so please don't arrange little side moments. Please don't get to points where you're trying to have just be goofy. Like, come to win, because if not, you're probably not going to be invited back in future seasons. Even guys, if you're not good at the game, right? If you're not super hardcore into Naval, this is your opportunity to try and get hardcore into Naval. And that's what we're going to be asking of you all for this season. Please do your best to respect the league by always fighting to win at all times.
Just one
That's
thing.
That's
just
all
to
I got.
point out that
Anybody
I
else?
forgot during the chat.
Yeah.
Just one thing to point out to everyone that I missed during the scheduling brief. Last season, every team played each other twice. This season, with the increase in teams, you'll only get one match against each team. So you'll get a total of 7 matches each as a team. Just to confirm that, plus the playoffs once we get there, and the scoring system. Right. I should have gone over this. The scoring system, or the league table system, will be the same as last season. It is the American system of your win-loss ratio, and then the total points difference that you've accumulated in each match is the tiebreaker if 2 teams have the same record. I will break that down more closer to the time. The guys who've been here before, you know how it works. Guys that haven't been here before, I'll break it down for you properly closer to
Can we not just do it like British football, where it's just 3 points for a win, no points for a no?
Personally, I've lost that argument 6 times now.
I think, if people here want to back it up, we should try. Atticus, I believe in you. We can do this.
I do think it's
some hills are worth dying on. This ain't one of them.
I think it is. I wholeheartedly
agree.
Nice
with
hill.
It's
what are the advantages? What are the advantages?
You don't have to do addition. Okay, so the first one is you don't have to do the mathematics straight after a victory. So, for example, when we're doing hosting, you don't have to go, we are trying to figure out exactly, there's like at least a 9,000 sort of point gap difference. So this means they're going to be going up by, 10,000 or whatever. And it's also the idea of the fact that when someone is playing, if you lose by 10,000 points, you're actually going down by 20,000 because the person ahead of you is going up 10,000. The other one is then going down 10,000. Whereas if it's just plus 3 points, or if you in the event of a draw or something like that, it would just be 1 point or whatever. I don't know. That's just my
one bad game can sink a season.
So my gut response to that is you are removing the impact that every individual player has on that score, which that's something that I am sort of against as a concept, because those numbers represent the total contribution of your team, right? It's a way to celebrate their input into it. They could say like, oh, 3,000 of those points were mine. I did that. Whereas if we take it on the abstract and turn it into, okay, you just 3 points for a win, we remove that. We do make it a little bit less complicated. You're certainly right on that argument, but I think it takes some of the ability for a player to say like, I was 500 of those points. I was 1,000 of those points. That's
I mean,
my
that's
gut
great if you're,
for
for example, someone who is at the top. But if you're someone at the bottom and you're looking at a chasm of minus 100,000 points, that might be a bit more disheartening. I'm just saying that's my personal thought.
Can I just rewind here a bit, because we're discussing two different things here. The 3 points would be for a win, so that you'd have a table and your team would accumulate 3 points for a win and nothing for a loss. It's pretty pointless in a league setting that you can't have a draw. And we can't have a draw here. A draw, there's more chance of me winning the lottery without playing the lottery than there is of having a draw in the NSL. It's just
challenge
so many
accepted.
Okay. Do it. Do it.
But with
Percy, we're gonna talk. Okay, we're gonna talk about this, Percy.
That violates the rules. It violates the rules. We talked about this just 2 minutes ago.
Beyond that, I think
talking is forbidden.
The points. So I think, if I'm right, Percy, what you were getting at with the other points was that in British football, why I have to put the word British in front of it, I don't get it. Is you have points for and points against, and then a difference, and that's your points difference. Whereas we do it a little differently, that you start out with 0. If you lose by 1,000 points, you're minus 1,000. It's basically the same thing. It's just not laid out as points for, points against, and the difference. We just take that difference and apply it to each team. So, you know, if and this goes for anyone here, if you have a proposal for a table system and it is robust and it works within us and it's simple and it's easy to understand, send it to me and we will discuss it. It's not something that's not open for debate, but you need to really break it down as to why, especially why it's better than the system we've got now. I know it favors American sports lovers more, the 5 and 4, but the reason I prefer it personally at the minute is because we don't have draws in the NSL. We have one winner, one loser. And don't come at me with some Six Nations bonus point rubbish, because I'll just ignore you.
Oh.
I knew
Is there a
someone
wooden
was
spoon?
thinking it.
I think if a score's under 5,000 in difference between the teams, it should count as a draw. There you go, done. I'm joking.
Oh my god, no. Yeah. Oh my god. All right. Guys, I don't want to stay here too long and keep guys. We've been going for about 2 hours now. So, again, as always, you are always free to bring your suggestions, questions, and comments to any of us. We work as a team here. Anything you say to one of us, all of us here, so that we can talk about it together and we debate hotly on all of these issues. Trust that at some point somebody has argued your point. And we've tried to get through that together as a team. But thank you guys all for your time today, and for your questions and for your attention. Again, can't stress enough, we're here for you, so please utilize us anytime you have a question about anything. With that, I will close this meeting out at exactly, hopefully somewhere around 2 hours. And we'll see you guys at the event, which is starting in like 5 minutes. And beyond. I hope we have a great season. this year, and it's all the additions that AGS gives us are a lot of fun and help us to have even more fun naval battles. And we'll see you out there, and we'll see you for more meetings. So I'll get in touch with you guys as we develop more things that are worth talking to you guys about, and we'll let you know. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks all.